Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sunday Community Skirmish number 338. Before you can see the brackets. The teams are forming up, and we'll move over to them shortly. I hope everyone is having a beautiful evening and are ready to see some of the greatest of Guns of Icarus online duke it out. Try and win the SCS championship here tonight. So we'll move on and look at the teams here. So we've got Phobos and Rider Coalition versus Altco. Now that's a coalition clan between the Alto clan and the Deadstone Alliance, or the Deadstone Company, sorry. Gonna be on Water Hazard, and we're just waiting for the last few members of the teams to drop in. Then we're gonna be starting the timer. There we go. The lobby timer has started. We're getting ready. That means the ships are subject to change. We're going to see what they go for here. We're seeing some minor changes here. Steam Rain's bringing out a Corsair. We have been seeing more of them in SES, but they're still a bit unusual. But that can make them strong in their own right, because that means that maybe it's a ship that most people haven't fought in a long time and they're not accustomed to fighting it. Now the timer is ticking down and we're not seeing a whole lot of changes. We've got the Corsair and the Pyramidian up against the Crusader and the Goldfish. Now this Crusader and Goldfish we saw last time as well, and I think it's a combo that Phobos and Rider Coalition are becoming known for. Our timer is ticking down, and at 30 seconds, the ships are going to be locked. That means no more switching. And as the final few seconds tick down, we are ready to blast this off. So captains are being asked to ready up, and we can see them readying up here. And there we go, we're on our way onto Water Hazard. Quite a big and open map, but it provides good cover if you want to try and go for something more brawly, something short range, to try and duck and weave through the covers that are strewn throughout the map. And there we go. So we're in the match. And we're going to start us off with the quite possibly bees piloted by Portable Grump. Is the Crusader with a Hwacha, Flak and Gatling left side, along with a Gatling, Flak and Carronade on the other. Then we've got the Sorrow piloted by Finks, a Hwacha fish. So Hwacha on front with Carronade on right, Gatling and Mortar on the left side, a deadly kill side. Then we've got the Dynablade, the Corsair with two front-facing Gatlings along with a Lumberjack. Flak on the back with a double Hwacha on the sides. And last we've got the SMS Temes, piloted by Captain Jan. It is a fish with a Gatling and Artemis up top, Flamer on 3 and Flak on 4. I think I forgot to mention the Corsair is piloted by Steam Brains. So already we've got spots. We see Sorrow using the cover to their advantage, making sure to stay away from that Lumberjack of the Dynablade. The red team doesn't really have that much long range. They've got Gatlings, they've got Flak, and that's about the furthest they're gonna reach. Blue team has that Lumberjack, so their long range capabilities are way greater than that of the red team. However, we see the Sorrow sneaking up uncomfortably close to the Dynablade. But the Dynablade has got their own Hwacha, so they're not defenseless in a brawl. We see blue team almost standing back to back here as the SMS Temes is firing on the quite possibly bees. Dynablade keeping an eye on the Sorrow. We see the Sorrow here going underneath the blue team, really disrupting them. Because they have to be aware of that fish at all times. And quite possibly bees who's staying just out of range for the blue team. Now they're moving in with the Hwacha as they're going out. Not a great deal of hits. The Sorrow gets popped. The quite possibly bees keeps up with the Dynablade and they get the hull break. They get some Flaks in, and that's a whole lot of perma damage. Watchers are going out, being traded. SMS Temes is not looking too hot. They lost 2 engines. They got 1 back just now. Dynablade once again hull broken. No major damage this time. Now the Sorrow bring out the kill tide on the Thames, and they need to be really careful. Watch just straight into the perma, taking out about a quarter. Flak follow up, taking out another 2, leaving them at 1/4 of their perma. Quite possibly bees now broken. They managed to get that Hwacha out, stopping the guns of the Temes, but not without losing a bit of their perma, about half. Now the Sorrow is on the Thames. Will we see the Mortar go out? There it comes. Thames goes down, and that means that first kill goes to red. Now the Dynablade just trying to stay alive here against the two red ships. However, it's a very hard position. That fish is just a bit too fast, and the Corsair might be a fast ship, but they've got a very slow acceleration. Down they go as well, putting the red team, Phobos and Rider Coalition, in a firm lead now. We'll see them moving in here among the cliffs and do a turn. And it's going to be interesting to see where the blue team chooses to spawn here. They choose to spawn over in the corner. And red team should have vision on them. There we go. The spots are out, but on the red team. Now on the blue team as well. Red team did quite a good job of predicting the spawn. They made sure they had good sight lines on most of them. Now, red team taking up a defensive position here with the hard cover, because they do not want to challenge them at the long range. They want to have the blue team come to them. A bit of a lull here as the blue team naturally is a bit reserved about going up to the red team. Now the Sorrow doing the trademark move here, going down under the ship, forcing them down with them. See them just getting past. Are they going to get the engines? The Dynablade is turning. They've got their own Watcher. And they just missed that. Now Thames is also turned towards the Sorrow, with quite possibly bees now coming in with some hard cover from the Pyramidion. Seems like they're gonna go in a 1v1 as the Sorrow and Dynablade duke it out. Hull break on Thames, but no follow-up as Dynablade makes sure to protect their ally. But the Sorrow is gonna follow up on that Pyramidion, and if they get that mortar on them, they're in trouble. Dynablade coming out with another Watcher. And then we see the power of having one Watcher on each side of the ship. It's all about position there. They position themselves in the middle of the fight, capable of shooting one Watcher on each ship. Thames getting shot by another Watcher there. They're down their guns. They still have their engines. Now the damage is raining down on them, and Dynablade needs to make a move if they want to save their ally. The Lumberjack is doing work, but it might just not cut it. We'll see if they manage to land that Watcher. They do on the Crusader. It seems like the guns are still working. But they managed to bring them down with the rear flak. And that leaves Sorrow a very lonely ship. However, if there's anything we've seen the Sorrow do, it's getting out of positions just like these. Meaning that the red team will be able to cut their losses and re-engage on a fresh plate. Now, it's not looking too good for them. They are getting shot by the Lumberjack. They lost their balloon. They're going in for the Watcher on the Thames. Quite possibly Bees is on the way in. They've got about 500 meters until the battle. And here we go. Their Watcher is firing. They got a decent hit on the Dynablade, taking out 2 guns. That's the Lumberjack gone on the Dynablade. However, it's up again. The Sorrow is coming in. Another Watcher landing. getting rid of the guns once more. Now it seems like the Thames is going to try and engage quite possibly bees. Watch is going out. That's not a good hit at all. They missed most of that. The Gatlings are going out. However, quite possibly bees is looking way better on the armor. But Thames got that Artemis, making sure that they can get the disables on the guns. Now the Dynablade tried to join the battle there, but the Sorrow made their presence known behind them. Dynablade get a good watch on them. So the Dynablade trying to get the pop there, but the Lumberjack is a bit unwieldy at these closer ranges. Sorrow landing a good watch on the Dynablade, getting 2 engines and 2 guns. Now the Carronade is coming out. They got the balloon. That's incendiary. You've got 20 stacks on the hull right now of fire on the Dynablade. That means the hull break comes, but no explosive follow-up. Now hull break on Thames. Mortars coming in. They get the holder just in time. They seem to be holding that clip. And that seems to be incendiary Gatling. And the Watcher brings them to an end. 3-1 to the red team. Now Dynablade cracking under the pressure of the quite possibly bees. There's a lot of guns on that ship. And the Sorrow moving in from the side, and that spells their doom. Now blue team under a lot of pressure. We've got 9 minutes left on the clock. 4-1 in favor of red. And they're not too far off the blue team spawns here, so they need to be very careful about where they choose to spawn this time around. You see them spreading out, trying to cover as many spawns as they can, so they can try and get them as soon as they spawn. Usually takes a bit of time to get a ship up and running. You see them choosing the western spawn again, meaning that they do have some time to prepare before the red team finds them, or they find the red team, of course. The blue team moving out. They've got a spot on the quite possibly bees. They know where the red team is. Now the Sorrow still unspotted. And the quite possibly bees just lost their spot. But once again, we see the red team very close to hard cover. They're ready in case they get bombarded by that Lumberjack. We haven't seen a whole lot of play from that Lumberjack. They haven't been able to use too much. Quite possibly bees under a bit of pressure here. The Sorrow coming up from behind with a Watcher out on the Dynablade. They get the front guns. They stay in front because they're on the side. That's where the dangerous guns are. The Watcher comes out, but we see him using vertical movement to avoid it. Now, Dynablade was unable to follow due to the Carronade. And now Thames just taking a beating from the quite possibly bees, and that's what we usually see them do. Usually see the Crusader biding their time and moving in when the enemy's distracted. Might not work this time though, as we see quite quickly a double focus forming on the Crusader. It is definitely the more fragile ship. They might just crack under the pressure here. Now, Thames not looking too great either. They've lost an engine, 3 guns. Armor's at half. And Sorrow rolling up with the kill side. Oh, and they ended with a ram! Alright, so that means a victory for the Phobos and Ryder coalition. 5-1. That means Phobos and Ryder coalition will be moving on. And will be following Altco down into the lower brackets as they face off against Fresh Void. So like I said, moving on, we'll have Altco and Fresh Void. They'll be duking it out on Northern Fjords. So here we are. Altco, of course, staying from last match, so we're waiting for the Fresh Void. And here we see them starting to pop up. And we're waiting for just a few more of the fresh void to show up before we start off the timer here. And there we go, the lobby timer is off. We've got 4 minutes until match start. 3 minutes 30 seconds until I lock these ships down. No, not a whole lot of changes. A very slow lobby game. Team Brains has changed out his Corsair for a Pyramidion. Obviously, Captain Jan here opting for a Magnate. Then we've got Freddy sitting on his Crusader, along with Raging Falcon, showing off a Pyramidion so far. Now, the ships are locked. And it seems like blue team might be in a bit of a pickle here. We see them missing 2 members, and they're saying here that they don't have any subs, actually. So the captains are being asked to ready up. and we are ready to move on to this game. There we go, and into the match we go. So, blue team, a bit unfortunately, 2 members down. They're not looking too great in this upcoming match here. Now, we're in the match. We're going to start looking at Dreamweaver, piloted by Steambrains. It's an Artling, so Gatling and Artemis up top, Flamer on 3, and Flak on 4. Then we've got the Boar Spanashi with a Watcher, Flak, and Gatling side on the right, along with a Laser, Flak, and Minotaur on the left side. Other than that, we've got the Dusty Old Crow, piloted by Freddy. It's a Crusader with Laser, Artemis, and Flak, along with Minotaur, Mortar, and Gatling. And last but not least, we've got Lord Voldemort, who's broken. It's an Artling, so we're looking at Artemis and Gatling, along with Flamer and a Mercury Field Gun. So a bit unorthodox builds here. Now, the long range is a go from both teams. Dusty Old Crow taking a bit of a beating from that Laser of the Boar Spanashi. That piercing side is no joke. They've got a whole lot of piercing coming out of that, with the Minotaur and the Laser. Flak's just barely missing Lord Voldemort. And a bad spot from the Dreamweaver. They don't seem to be doing too well. Dreamweaver really going on the offensive here right now. But everything can change in a battle between Ortlings. Now the Dusty Old Crow attempting to get a sneaky Flak in there, but they fall to the Boar Spanashi. So that means first kill goes out to red team. Lord Voldemort right now trying to back off, but they go down by the mountains here. And that puts red team in a firm lead. Now Alco is sitting in the blue team spawn. Fresh Void doesn't have many options. Usually the one you'd go for in a pressured situation is the one over here. The red team does have vision on the other two, meaning that if they don't see them when they see that the ships are spawned, they will be getting very suspicious. And they're very close to that spawn as well. So they got good vision. Boar Spanashi being the long-range support, hanging back a little bit. Of course, they do have the brawling. I think where they shine right now is with that Laser and Minotaur, just making sure to get the hull breaks, while the Dreamweaver stays in there and takes the attention. Now, the Minotaur of the Dusty Old Crow is going out, but the Dreamweaver is coming in from the side, putting Dusty Old Crow a bit on the spot there, forcing them to back off. Lord Voldemort rushing towards the Boar Spanashi, but they get hull broken. And they get some really good flaks in. Now Dusty Old Crow broken and killed. Lord Voldemort will soon follow here. Being down 2 crew members puts them in a really bad situation. It's just like the pilots, the crew is paramount to your success. They're often forgotten because we don't see them as much, but they are very important. in making sure that the ship does what it's supposed to do. Now, Dreamweaver moving out to check the further away spawn, and they find the blue ships spawning in on them. Now, Burst Banashir is a bit away, so that might put them in a bad spot. Now, they seem ready for this. They got the Flamer, and they got the Hydro, and now they're really high up here. It's going to take a while for the blue team to get up to them. Giving the Burst Banashir some time to get over there. Now the Burst Banashir is here, the Watcher goes out, Lord Voldemort losing all their guns. Dusty Old Crow coming in a bit late into the engagement here, with Lord Voldemort presumably already dead here. And there we go. Altco takes home the victory, meaning they'll be moving on, and we thank the Fresh Void for their efforts. So 5-0 in favor of Altco. And so now we have a one-match pause here before we can go on. So what we're waiting for is for match 9 that you can see down there to finish up between the Terrific Haze and the Prudish Hemorrhage. So until then, we'll be taking a short break here. Still be displaying the brackets so you can see what's going on. And I'll be back here shortly. Alright, and as such, we are back on track. Welcome back, everyone. So what we've got is Alt Code versus Terrific Haze. So we'll be moving on to the lobby screen, and here we can see the team starting to form up. Now we see the Terrific Haze coming in. We're waiting for Altco. Now we see most of the teams have formed up here. We're just about ready to start off the match timer. And the match timer is off. So far, a bit of a change since last time we saw Altco. We see them sitting on double Pyramidion, now a Pyramidion and Goldfish. Blue team is bringing so far a Squid and a Magnate. Now a Fish and a Magnate. Now we're seeing a whole host of changing here. But mostly from what we see right now is some gun changes. And with us right now, surprise guest. Saldarum has joined us in the commentator's booth. Welcome.
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine, trying to wrap my head around all this reffing business.
Well, I'm now here for you.
Yeah, so I'm being relieved of half of my duties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish up this timer here, and then I'm gonna let you take it from there.
So we have Altco and Terrific Haze.
Yeah, terrific. Never
God.
forget that we're in Guns of Icarus.
Yeah, that's true. So we're on Ashen Scuffle. That's an interesting match, I have to say. I hope, at least.
I'm thinking we'll be seeing an interesting match here. Both of these teams have been doing decently well from what I've seen.
Well, I haven't had the pleasure yet of seeing them, so we'll find out shortly. And a minute is added.
Yeah, we've got another minute here, so... Be 1:30. 1 minute. Yep. Log. They're getting more than a minute now because I'm slow.
That's business unusual. Don't you worry there.
And I'm gonna start the 1 minute. That's 60 seconds. For those who didn't know.
Every 60 seconds, a minute in Africa passes. Together, we can stop that. Whatever. Oh, people are already readying up.
Yeah, they probably got the changes they wanted through and are now comfortable. There we go. The ships are once again locked, and we're looking at 30 seconds until the match should be starting.
Emphasis on should.
And there we go. We are ready to take off.
Wow.
Yeah, so far I've been having great luck with getting the lobby started.
Huh? I had every one of them full started.
Maybe it's because I put in the exclamation point.
Oh, but I usually put one. Oh, actually, I wasn't reffing my lobbies, so.
Will you start the timer?
Of course I will.
Then I'm going to start us off with the Dreamweaver, piloted by Steambrains. It is an Artling, so Art and Gatling, along with a Flamer on 3 and a Flak on the back. Then we've got the Babushkas Banashi, piloted by Captain John. It is a Carrowfish, so Carrow on front, Flame on the right, and Double Banshee on the left.
Ship number 3 is the Home Resonance, Goldfish piloted by Artemis. He's bringing Flame on the right, Carrot on the front, and Double Banshee on the side. same as the Babushkas Panashis. And ship number 4 is for the Emperor! Crusader, piloted by Zenok. He's bringing Watcher number on the front, double flags in the middle, and get Hades on top.
Very fitting name for a Crusader.
Yeah. Well, that is true. So, and right now we actually don't have people going around in circles. Teams will find each other.
Yeah, we've already got the spots out, and we're probably going to have an engagement around here.
Yeah. For the Emperor already putting in their long-range sight to good use on Dreamweaver here. Putting in the Lumber, Hades and Flakfire.
There's going to be a bit of an interesting dynamic in this match. The blue team have brought some really potent long-range fire, while the red team is exclusively brawler or mid-range.
That's also the beauty of Hybrid Crusader, that you can have both the really potent long-range, but also the really good brawling. Oh,
yeah, I think we see it for most maps, except for, say, Paraton and Canyon, where it's really imperative that you round a corner with the right side or the brawler side facing.
So spots have been lost. I'm actually curious. Is Arthur? No, he's not running drifts here. I'm very disappointed. But I would like to point out that every single pilot is running Moonshine.
Well, people want to go fast. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Okay, spots reacquired there.
And we see the home resonance trying to work their way in. And Babushkas Banashi is staying out of sight right now, probably ready for one of the blue team ships to move over the border there.
Actually, it will be the red team pushing this, as both Babushkas Banashis and Dreamweaver push forwards towards for the Emperor. Dreamweaver will probably pay for this, as they just lost their balloon and they find themselves on a lot of fire here. Home resonance going in for the Babushkas Banashis, stopping them from actually entering the fight. And
These are
Dreamweaver
really
now
solid
broken with
Hades.
Lux coming out. And half the perma gone. So the Emperor not changing for the close range side.
Yeah, so that we saw a perfect example that the Crusader, even though it's long range, is not defenseless in the close range.
Okay. Dreamweaver now being pushed into a corner there. As for the Emperor just locks them down. And there we go.
And they go down.
That is the first kill for blue.
Yeah, the Babushkas Banashi really took the upper hand in the fish duel. However, I think what happened there was the Pyramidion on approach just took too much fire from the Crusader.
Yeah. They were probably aiming for disabling the Lumberjack.
Yeah, and that's a big gamble. Dreamweaver spawned in once again.
Oh, Krugers. Nice.
And we see a good move here from the Dreamweaver, making sure that they've got that hard cover from the Lumberjack. They don't want to get caught out in that long-range fire. Problem for red team right now is the blue team does have the first kill advantage, meaning that they can pick and choose their engagements a bit more.
And also what we see right now is actually, I would say, blue team coming from a bit of an unexpected angle. Because looking at the positioning of red team right now, they were expecting blue team to come from the north and not from the south. And there we go, that's spots going out on both blue ships and Babushkas Banashis.
Yeah, I would say they're at a very comfortable range though. Not really in any danger right now.
Yeah.
But it is red team that has to make the move eventually. Now blue team is pushing in, claiming more and more territory.
Especially with the home resonance now pushing forwards there. I actually need to be careful not to get caught by the Dreamweaver. Spots going
And now
out.
they have the spot out.
And Artemis just running straight forwards out of there, not getting caught in between the two red ships. Vivo is once again pushing.
It's a bit of a better approach on the Crusader this time around. But still not a good one.
A lot of those guns aim up really nicely. Especially with the balloon disabled and the Watcher going out. Dreamweaver's not looking too good. That's another.
We'll see if the flags are at the ready. They are. Ooh.
Yeah, that's the majority of the perma gone. So, yes, you can't one clip a Pura, but two do the trick just fine.
Yeah, there we go. Pyramidion goes down once again.
And now there's once again time for Lucas Banashis to either stand and fight or run. Currently it seems like
they didn't really have the upper hand this time around. It was a bit more even fight, meaning the fish can easily lock them down this time around.
Especially with the Crusader now giving in the long range support. Coming in with long range support, but Lucas Banashis will sit down due to no balloon.
Well, this ram might be really bad for them. Oh!
Ram kill! Alright, so this second match we had, where we had a Goomba Stomp, a ram kill, and another ram kill.
It's always fun to see.
Yeah, that's true. It's fun to see, it's fun to execute, but it's not fun to be on the receiving end.
Of course.
So, blue team taking a comfortable 3-0 lead here, giving them the opportunity to end this match in the next engagement. And red team respawning in the west right now.
And
Actually,
I think blue team has a pretty good
Dreamweaver.
idea, because they have some good vision on the spawns here.
Yeah. Taking a close look at positions right now. I think actually that spawn is the only one blue team could see.
Yeah, and that means by proxy that they can kind of see it as soon as they spawn, because they know where they are.
And right now Home Resonance confirms where red team is, spotting the Dreamweaver and already being under fire. For the Emperor now joining the fight, putting the Lumberjack and Hades to good use on the Dreamweaver.
Yeah, and red team could stop the fish from getting in there, but they can't stop for the Emperor to fire on them from out of their range, which means they're gonna have to move now.
Home Resonance actually double broken right now. He was sitting on this little spike here. I say this little spike and assuming that I'm streaming.
Well, we see the spike here. This spike.
What do you? Good. Okay. Oh, Dreamweaver actually going over the mountain ridge right now. Or will they? No, just getting the altitude, not actually committing to going over it. For the Emperor.
Yeah, it might be a very dangerous position if they get popped.
Actually, they will just fall down without being stuck on top. But Dreamweaver's double broken right now. Do we have flux? No, we have Donald Flux coming out. But still Prima missing. Home Resonance now once again engaging in the fish duel. Also,
And they look to be in a good position. However, now they lost the altitude advantage. But
it's Caronate.
the Dreamweaver goes down, so now they're being double teamed.
Yeah, and with that, Babucha's Splashes will probably get finished off here. And we say height advantage, but the Caronates shoot up a lot, so it's more about the space you have to fall down, I guess.
Yeah, but towards the ground, height advantage is important, because that decides who sits on who.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, barely missing the ram.
Yeah, but now for the Emperor, going in, or more specifically Zenok, as part of for the Emperor, going in with the Crusader ram, obtaining the last kill.
Yeah,
So,
those we don't see too often.
So that means Terrific Ace obtains the victory. Final score of 5-0 against Altco. Altco? Altco? Altco.
Altco is what I've been saying. And that
Yeah,
means we're
let's
going to
go.
be seeing Terrific Haze, sorry, going up against Sly and Water, or Umoris Vulpes, as they're also known.
Yes.
On
So,
Misty Mutiny. Wait, is that
Ooh.
16? That's a 16. Canyon Ambush, sorry. Haha.
Harl.
The numbers are small, and 6s look like 8s.
And what was the match? What was the map? Canyon Ambush, Cambush, everybody's favorite. Dum 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 dum. I need this, I need this, and I want Sly Crossfox and Water, it's a me. And they're already coming. Actually, unmute Mumble. Damn, Kira, not when I'm drinking.